What's going on, boys? Today we are at the end of the year. Currently filming this. It is Christmas Day, so Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you had a great Christmas. Hope you got everything you wanted, had a great time, spending time with family, all of that good stuff. But we are towards the end of the year, which means we need to do our top 10 WWE figures of 2024. Pretty eventful year this year. We had a lot of great stuff. We also had some not great stuff, which we'll kind of go over everything in this video. But here we got some honorable mentions. I wanted to highlight these figures because I thought that they were good, but they just missed out the top 10, or missed out the top 10, but were worth mentioning. So let's go ahead and go over what we have here, and then we will get into the top 10 WWE figures of 2024. Now, my criteria for the top figures is same thing with AEW and with WWE. It's not necessarily just elites. In this case, it is. I currently don't do the ultimate figures because I hate the drop down hips. I've completely tapped out on the ultimate figures. There's going to be very few that I do get. The Great Muta is one that I'm going to get just because I'm a huge Great Muta mark and I want that figure. So I'm definitely going to be getting that, even though I hate that it's an ultimate and I hate that it's going to have those drop down hips. It is what it is. I'm going to have to get that. So pretty much I'm grouping all of the figures together. So if it's an elite, a basic, an ultimate, whatever, I don't get all of the lines. I don't get, every figure in the sets. So just what I got this year, I'm going to showcase because, yeah, I don't get everything. I just get what I like. So this is kind of, that's kind of my criteria for the top figures of 2024. Also worth noting, I do have a new setup. I don't know if you guys can tell, but there is a new setup in here. We actually rearranged rooms. So I do have a new setup. I'm planning on doing kind of a room tour video of the new setup because I really, really like the way that it's set up. And I think it looks super good. So we will probably do a video of that, hopefully pretty soon. But anyway, all of that aside, let's go ahead and look over these honorable mentions. So I have all the Elite series in my notes. I need to write them down, but I can't remember what Elite set this is. But the core, not Cora Jade, I get them mixed up all the time. Roxanne Perez, great figure. I really, really enjoy the women's figures, especially with the double jointed arms. I mean, the women's figures have gotten so much better, especially with the addition of the double jointed arms. And I think this is a great figure. This is like one of the first women's figures of the year that I got, and I was super impressed with it. I really, really liked it. So the Roxanne Perez just beat the list, or was just out of the list. Same thing with the Cora Jade. The double jointed elbows were great. The gear is great. I really like Cora Jade. I think she is great. The hat is awesome. The hat accessory. Also, the kendo stick was great. It's like a shorter kendo stick. So yeah, just made it out of the top 10 there. We have Elite something. I'm going to write these down before the next clip, when we get to like the actual top 10, but sorry, I can't remember the series. But this Elite Seth Rollins, that came with a new World Heavyweight Championship. Really, I wanted to put him on the top 10 because I kind of enjoy this figure. I enjoy that it's got pins in the legs. Thank God. That's something we're going to go over in this video, but he does have pins in the legs, which I greatly appreciate. He's got the back tattoo, which I've known. Recently, there's some Seth Rollins figures that don't have back tattoos, which is stupid. Just put it on there. And the World Heavyweight Championship was a little bit too small for my liking. I think that the belt was too small. I was super hyped on that belt because I love it. I think it's a beautiful belt, but it just, in figure form, it was shrunk down. It didn't fit the figures right. The loops are too far apart. It just didn't do it for me. So that's why he didn't make the top 10, but he's, if I had a number 11, he's probably there. The Solo Sikoas, I think this one's the top picks in the red, and then this one's like the regular release or the Elite release, or maybe I have that backwards. I don't know. Anyway, Solo Sikoas, they were great. I just hate hate the pinless legs and makes this figure super stiff. Now, I have done a lot of heating to these figures, so it has made it a lot better. This one still is pretty rough to bend, so yeah. And it's got like that drop down. It doesn't have the drop down heel, but it feels like it does, and I hate it. I did put the boots on these to make it look a little better, more accurate to what he is now. So shouts out to the Solo Sokoas. I like the head sculpts, I like the formula, I just hate those pinless legs. So the next figure is the Defining Moments LA Knight. Now, this made it out because, as you see, he doesn't have a head, because I hate the head sculpt that came with this figure. It's god-awful. Give him the basic head sculpt. That basic head sculpt is beautiful. They didn't even put it with the Ultimate, which is just like, what are you guys doing? That's the best LA Knight head sculpt, and we only got it on a basic, and it does not fit these Elite figures, which bums me out. It's supposed to, but it doesn't. If you put it all the way down, he's got like no neck, and then if you do it like halfway, the head pops off all the time. So yeah. Anyway, the Defining Moments LA Knight, really like the gear. Really wanted to like this figure. The head sculpt was just abysmal. So yeah, that is the honorable mentions portion of this. Now let's go ahead and get into the top 10 WWE figures of 2024. All right, so coming in at number 10 is Elite 109 Damian Priest. I was very, I don't know, I was weary of this figure, is that how you say it? Because I saw like the size, he looks like too small. And I think that is accurate. I think he is definitely a little bit too short or something. Something's going on. The other Damian Priest, I think, were better in the sense of the height difference. But the detail on this figure, the head sculpt, is absolutely amazing. I really, really love this head sculpt, and all of the detail in the gear is absolutely phenomenal. Hate the pinless legs, which, it is what it is. But yeah, this figure rules. I think it is a shrunk down version of Damian Priest straight off the television. I think it looks just like him. I think the head sculpt is absolutely phenomenal. I think I did put that necklace on him from the previous Elite. But yeah, Damian Priest Elites are always very, very good figures. So number 10 is Elite 109 Damian Priest. Coming in at number 9 is Legends 24 Kurt Angle. Now, I did do a head swap on this figure. I put the bald head sculpt on there versus the younger Kurt Angle with the hair. But I think either way, I think even this figure with the head sculpt that it came with is great. I love this figure, man. Give me more double jointed pins in the knees, for God's sake. Kurt Angle figures, and you got me every time. Huge Kurt Angle guy, loved Kurt Angle as a kid, and still appreciate his work today. And this is a really sick gear. I think we had a Jax singlet back in the day like this, like a cloth singlet. So yeah, just reminiscence of the Jax figure, and just a super solid figure. It's got the jacked double jointed arms, the pins in the legs, thank God, so we don't have those stiff knees. And yeah, bald head sculpt or the regular head sculpt, I think either way, oh my God, this is a great figure. So number 9 is Legends 24 Kurt Angle. And coming in at number 8 is, and don't sue me for this, but I think this figure was released in 2024. I'm not sure. The Top Picks Cody / the TMNT Cody WWE collaboration Target exclusive thing. Not a huge fan of the TMNT Cody figure. The actual figure itself, the Casey Jones, Cody Rhodes figure, I don't, it's the pinless knees that kill it for me. I just hate it. Cody figures used to be so good. These pins in the knees absolutely make the figure, like, just, I don't care about aesthetic. I don't care if it looks goofy. Put the pins back in the knees, for God's sake. But yeah, I'm not sure if this figure was released in 2024. If it's not, we'll go ahead and put the TMNT Cody, because I love the face mask that this comes with, the American Nightmare skull mask, and then the shirt is absolutely amazing too. Yeah, that TMNT Cody, that alone, like the mask, like I said, I think in the review, that's worth the price of admission alone. There is that mask, because it is just beautiful. It is a super, super nice looking mask. And with the figure, the whole Casey Jones thing was really cool too. But yeah, so this is number, what are we at? Number 8. So the top pick / TMNT Cody is number 8. And coming in at number 7 is Elite 108 LA Knight. Now, the reason I picked this LA Knight over the Defining Moments one is hard because I do like the Defining Moments gear better. I like that figure better, but this head sculpt is not as abysmal as the other one. Still hate this head sculpt. I still don't think it looks like LA Knight. I think it's a terrible head sculpt, but this was the first, so I guess I'll put this in there. Again, pins in the knees. Great. That alone was great. Now, the Defining Moments does have pins in the knees too, so I can't complain too much about that. But yeah, gear-wise, I definitely like the Defining Moments more. This one, like I said, the head sculpt is just not as bad as that Defining Moments one. So that's the reason that it's on this list and not the Defining Moments. But yeah, so number 7 is Elite 108 LA Knight. And coming in at number 6 is Elite 114 Braun Breaker. Man, I wanted this figure to be number 1. If you go back and watch the reviews of last year's top 10 figures, Braun Breaker, his regular and his chase, I couldn't even choose because they were both so damn good, were number 1. And I was expecting this figure to be number 1 this year. I really was. If they would have kept that same formula, without a doubt, this would have been number 1. But old pinless knees had to come in and ruin everything. Also, a big FU to the new shoe mold. I do not like that. I don't like the like swivel ankle that they have on AEW figures, because some AEW figures, they get really loose, and these are the same way. They come out of the package loose. So I did do a boot swap on this with the Rick Steiner Elite, which I think it looks a lot better with these boots than the plain black ones. Love the head sculpt. I think the head sculpt's great. The new updated head sculpt with the fade and the thicker beard. I think the gear's fine. I mean, definitely that upcoming one with like the yellow zebra print is, if that comes out in 2025, that might be number 1. I'm just a huge Braun Breaker mark, man. I just really, really like Braun Breaker, and his figures did rule. They kind of suck now because of these pinless knees. And another thing, they put the wrong knee pads. I need to switch these knee pads out. He needs the open back knee pads, because that's more accurate to what he wears versus these. Oh, professional. Oh my God. You guys ever watched a professional YouTuber? Well, you are now. Yeah. Really wish this figure was higher up, but it's just not, it doesn't pose around as good as the first one does because of those pinless effing knees. This is pretty cool too, like the wolf dog headdress thing is pretty sick. So yeah, he is going to be number 6 this year. Wish he was higher, but Braun Breaker Elite 114 is number 6. Coming in at number 5 is Elite 113 Trick Williams. Another figure that I really, really wanted to be higher up on the list, but just couldn't in good conscience because of certain things. The pinless knees. Number 1 is the reason for this. I mean, it just feels like it's gonna snap. You have to like heat it up almost every time you do anything with this figure. You're gonna have to heat up the legs to even have any mobility out of it. I would say like the thighs up are great. I love the figure. I think the head sculpt's great. I think the body choice was great. I did have like paint. Yeah, there it is, which I still got to try to acetone that off. But did have like some paint wear on mine, which kind of sucked. But yeah, I like the gear. I like the figure all in all. It's just those pinless legs. The ankles on this one aren't as bad. On the Braun Breaker, they were absolutely terrible. And on a figure coming up, they're pretty bad too. But I love Trick Williams and was stoked to get a figure of him. So that's kind of why he made it on the list. Just wish we didn't have all these other problems with it. So number 5 is Elite 113 Trick Williams Whoop That Trick. And coming in at number 4 is Elite 111 Sandman. Yeah, this figure, I like, listen, I love ECW. So this right here was like mind-blowing to me that we were getting a Sandman figure. Super stoked on this. I love this figure. I know a lot of people have like their gripes about it. I think it's good. I think the only problem that I have is like this ankle is pretty loose with these jogger style pants, but the detail in these jogger style pants, and guess what, pins in the knees, great. ECW shirt, awesome. I think the head sculpt's great. Yeah, man, I blew my mind that we were getting a Sandman figure in 2024. So hopefully this opens the floodgates for future ECW alumni to sign to Legends deals so we can get merchandise of them, aka figures. Yeah, super excited for that. So yeah, what are we at? Number 4? Number 4 is Elite 111 Sandman. Coming in at number 3 is Elite 114 Ilya Dragunov. Another figure that I still think could probably go a little higher. I think this figure rules. The cloth goods is absolutely amazing. All of the fur, the detail on all of this is absolutely incredible. Definitely an upgrade from his first figure, which I never even saw that figure in stores. Apparently it was super hard to come by. So yeah, never saw that figure in stores, so never had the first version, but apparently, and from what I can tell from pictures, of course, the head sculpt is a lot better, a lot more accurate. Pretty much kept the same formula from what I can tell. Great pins in the knees, thank God. The boots, this is the other figure like I was talking about with the Trick Williams. This one is a little loose. I'm not super fond of those new ankle molds that they got with the feet. I think it's cool in theory, but they need to execute it a little bit better. I know Mattel recently like switched factories, and it's not been good. Figures have just been like super stiff out of the packaging. Having to literally heat them up before you even move them around is kind of insane. This figure was not like that though. I mean, pretty much out of the packaging, again, because of the pins in the knees, it was good to go. And yeah, this figure rules. So number 3 is Elite 114, Jesus, Ilya Dragunov. And coming in at number 2 is Top Picks 2024, Logan Paul. I love this figure. Oh my God. Should we even cut it, or should we just keep it in and just show you guys how freaking good I am at doing YouTube videos? Are we good? Can we relax? Thank you. All right. Top Picks 2024 Logan Paul figure. I absolutely love this figure. I did do a head swap on it with the Championship Showdown, I think it was, with Roman Reigns. So I did do a head swap, but I wasn't a huge fan of the Screaming head sculpt, honestly. But everything else about this figure rules. I love the cloth jacket. I love the gear. I know everybody shits on Logan Paul's gear, but I like the colors. I think it's a really cool gear. And this figure rules, man. It's got pins in the knees so he can move around. It also came with, if I'm gonna steal this, a Prime bottle, which is absolutely absurd. I think it's just really cool, man. It was a really cool release, and I like even went to links to pre-order this because I just thought it was so cool, man. And yeah, it's a great figure. It rules. So number 2 is Elite, or Top Picks Elite, whatever, 2024 Logan Paul, super kick you in the face. And my number 1 figure of the year goes to Elite 110 Pete Dunne, and I had to put them both up here. Probably a shocker to a lot of people. Kind of a shocker to me too, to be honest with you. Like, I got these figures in. I again, huge Pete Dunne fan. He's always been Pete Dunne to me also. I'm not even going to say the other name. It's kind of the joke on TV right now. I'm not even going to say the other name because I just thought it was so dumb. They changed his name. You had a guy that was just a badass. I mean, he beat Gunther. Or I hate that name too. He beat Walter. I mean, the dude was just a badass. I mean, he's still a badass, and I love Pete Dunne. And we got a updated formula, pretty much, of Pete Dunne with the double jointed arms, with the new head sculpt. The thing that sucked really bad about this was these double jointed knees, but luckily, especially on the regular white gear, I heated them up one time and they were kind of good to go. His legs do get a little loose, but the figure just rules, man. It just poses around really good. Like, even if the legs suck, like, once, especially more so this one than the chase one. I do really like the chase one too. But his legs are still a little stiff even after heating those up. But yeah, the figure still rules. I think I would have to go over like the PBR style gear, the white gear versus the green. I think if I had to choose, I like that one more. But yeah, I mean, it just, once I heated up those legs and they posed around and I like got to like actually utilize that figure, I was in love with this figure. I'm a huge Pete Dunne fan. I think he's great. And yeah, I think this figure just rules. It's just really good. The only thing that brings it down again is the pinless legs, and that it's a Brawling Brutes gear. That kind of sucks. Kind of wish it was just Pete Dunne or whatever, but yeah, even then, the figure still rules. So I think that is it. So guys, that was my top 10 WWE figures of 2024. Let me know what your top 10, or at least your top, your number one figure of the year, down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And we will see you guys in the next one. And remember, don't call him Butch.